Yeah, baby. Yeah. The Mac is back. Back with another video. Hello, the initiated. My name is Marcus Junikala, and today we have another biggie because we have Electro from Teletone Audio. Now, many of you know I'm a huge fan of what Teletone Audio do. Not only do they build brilliantly designed and fantastic instruments simply from the perspective of how they just put it together, the design, the functionality, etc. But I put them at the top of the game because they have such a fantastic sense of what makes for a good sound. And most importantly, what makes for a artistically, sonically interesting sound. Their sound design abilities and how they relate to their mixing abilities are just top tier. Now, obviously, you need to like the sound that they're going for, but if you're into like super vibey, artistic sounds, I mean, they are at the top of the game, and there are very few companies who do that. There are so many great sample library developers out there and virtual instrument developers out there who make fantastic stuff. But to have that final edge of that creativity and that artistry that goes into, putting the soul into the instrument, very few companies do it at the level that Teletone Audio do. Which is why I'm super excited to always see a new product from them. So today, it's Electro that we're looking at. So I have their website open here on my laptop just to sort of go through what they call this thing here. So it's an electronic rhythm orchestrator, which I think is a reference to what they would call, drum machines back in the day. So Electro is our electronic rhythm orchestrator featuring some of the world's greatest drum machines, all packaged in an innovative Beatmaker with sound design controls. So, seems like it's multiple different drum machines, not just an 808 or something else, but a selection of them. Now, I love this approach because it just gives you more flexibility, obviously, and I like it because you're going to get I'd assume, a broader scope of sounds to go with. If you just have one drum machine, you're obviously locked in with that sound. So very happy to see that this has some scope, and also they mentioned they have the Beatmaker in there, which, touching on Tympo, your wizard Tympo. Tympo is just hands down one of the best drum sample libraries out there. It's just fantastic sourced sounds sampled, but they have the Beatmaker in there, which, I'm not a huge Beatmaker kind of a person, and even I love it. So that speaks a lot in terms of how good it is. I just prefer to play my stuff, if I'm honest, just feel the vibe of it, put the soul in it through my own, twiddly widdly fingers. But the designer, the Beatmaker, is really fantastic, super flexible, super like organic and realistic and soulful sounding. I don't know how they do it, but it is really pleasant to use, and gives you flexibility and features that you necessarily can't deliver yourself, obviously depending on how good you are playing, etc. But I'm a drummer. I'm not as good on the keyboard as I am on the drums, but some of that translates, so I can get pretty close, pretty good. But it has some features that are fantastic. So excited to see that in here, and makes complete sense that it's in there because it is that good. But yeah, I mean, this seems like as an offering, this seems super sensible, super solid. because from listening to what they do, their other instruments and their kind of demo tracks, etc., makes complete sense that they probably master drum machines really, really well, and they have a good take on that. So this seems like a very sensible, obvious continuation of the lineup. And actually, I wouldn't be excited to even get a drum machine sample library from many companies. But if I were to want one, it would be Teletone Audio. And also I'm interested in, because they kind of seep so much soul and vibe and energy in there, I'm interested in hearing how flexible this is in terms of the scope of the genres it can serve. Now, obviously, everything is very tweakable, so that's the only limit is your creativity and your engineering ability. But out of the box, I'm interested in how wide of a kind of genre scope sound does it have. So, yeah, seems like they've kept the website pretty minimal, which is good. But we haven't even reached halfway, so why am I saying that? So what's in there? So there's a TRT 808, which is probably the most well-known drum machine ever. Then you have a 909, which is probably the second best known. And then you have a Lindrum, which is probably the third best known. Then we have some really interesting ones. We got Moog's DFAM, so DFAM, which is a pretty widely used unit, far more modern. I don't remember when they made this, but I think it was maybe this. No, I can't remember. Pretty new. Then you have a Juno 860, which really interesting what they pulled out of that to see what they did. And then you have a category that says variety. So in addition to our traditional drum machines and synths, we've explored a diverse range of analog and digital synthesizers. Casio SK1, DX7, both really cool. Not sampled as extensively as the other ones, but gives you more flexibility. That's really cool. I tend to like the kind of the odd things here and there. So this has a lot of scope, and makes this like, I think this would be a good offering even if it was like an 808, because I would love the 808 take, the Teletone take on the 808, but having this much scope already kind of in theory makes this a no-brainer. Because for years I've been looking for one drum machine sample library to rule them all. And we have a candidate here. Haven't played a single note yet, but we'll see. But really, because I want to use a lot of those sounds in a lot of the cinematic stuff that I do. The problem tends to be that the sounds tend to be very vanilla and very kind of stereotypical to what comes out of the machines very sort of easily. So I'm hoping this gives more scope and flexibility, which is why why I'm interested in seeing whether it can easily lend itself to, let's say, cinematic or sort of more game type of music as well. So yeah, Beatmaker in there, inspired beats and grooves catalog, humanize the groove. So again, this is one of the features I really like from the Beatmaker. You can change the feel of it, which can be stuff that you just can't play even if you're a decent player. And that's it. Okay, so you can sample blend. So yeah, you can bring in different samples and blend between the two, which is good if you just want a mix of, let's say, this snare and this snare. That's very nice. Those things can be really cool when you initially find a sound you really like, but then later in the mix or the production you realize that you maybe want a bit more of a crisp top end or a bit of body. Then you can go from that, like that's a linear process instead of, oh, what sample am I going to pull from somewhere? You already have a good sample. then you find another one that complements it and you blend it and you're that much closer to the end result. So I really like that it's built in here, so I don't have to manually do it in the DAW. Bendable beats. So this is where the pitch wheel, mod wheel comes in. These effects, the control on it is just fantastic. In Tympo, it's super creative, super well thought out. So I really want to test the heck out of that feature. And then they say be in control of the mix. Each drum can be individually routed to its own output. That's really good because then you can easily transition into the mixing phase if you want to individually treat these. Source sounds, and works with the free Kontakt player. Not sure about the specs on that one. I would presume, because this is so new, I would presume it's only Kontakt 7. It doesn't state here, so check the oh no, it does. Requirements: free version of Kontakt player 6.7.1 or later. So it does work in 6, but you need 6.7.1. That's pretty cool because I would have presumed it would be like a 7 product. Mac OS 10.14. What the heck am I running? Oh, 12. No idea what operating system we're running on. They just every year comes out a new one. And you're like, why? 1 gigs of disk space. So this is super light. And again, they're dealing with pretty simple samples and probably not a ton of dynamics in there. I don't know. We'll see. But that's super efficient, super space light. And that's it. So this is a I'm pretty exhausted. So that's why my speech is a bit flurby. But yeah, bigger background than what I usually do because I wanted to check what's actually in there. And this is genuinely the first time I'm having a look at this. Let's put my laptop over here and let's dig in. So I'm smiling because Tympo was so much fun. So much fun last time. So it's just a playground for me. But let's have a look at the interface here. So this is the default thing that opens up. You got basically 2 different pages here. You got home and Beatmaker. Beatmaker view is exactly what it says. So the numbers here basically represent, I don't know what the term would be here, but it's like a different beat. Then you see the keys here. I don't know if the keys, showing the key is a new addition. I'm not sure. But we'll start with the home page. Over here you see the pitch wheel. So if I move that, it obviously moves with that, as well as mod wheel. Now these are mapped to these different effects. And what you can see here is you have stretch, speed, chaos, filter, reverse, velocity, feel, spread, tune, decay. And below those, so this is the sound design section. Below that you have distress, saturation, flanger, flanger, filter, reverb, and swing. Reverb has gated long, gated short, room, plate, and spring. Yeah, pretty usual stuff. Then below that you have kit selection. So here we can, so here's the factory folder. You got 808. So here is where you can presumably choose the just the kit type. And then over here you can choose song key, chromatic, major, minor, beat selection. So here you can actually change the beats that it's playing. These are pre-designed beats that you can dig in here. They are tempo categorized from 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120 plus. So anything beyond, anything at or beyond 120 is in here. In Tympo, I did talk about wanting some higher BPM things, but with that you have to remember that these do obviously adjust to your session tempo, so there is quite a lot of flexibility. You know, I could, for example, go with, you know, 70 and then just see it change in relation to my session tempo, or go with 100 and then let's say we're in 130, hear the beats change. And this in fact does affect the perception of the beat a lot, not just obviously in tempo sense, but different tempo pulls different vibes out of even the same beat. So this is probably far more thought out than what I realized, because you know, I presume many of these lower BPM beats do lend themselves pretty well if they're doubled, for example, or 100 BPM can be, you know, cool at 130, etc. And as they state, this is the suggested use of each beat BPM, but it doesn't mean you obviously can't, and you know, creativity is limitless in that regard. Then at the bottom you have drum details, so kick, snare, hi-hat, tom 2, ride, crash, percussion 1 and 2 and 3. So easy enough, and there you can control things a bit more. All right, cool. Just getting my bearings here. We're not going to dig super deep into the Beatmaker. This looks like the same design as in Tympo. So here on the left you can see your actual drum in question, or the source in question. Then you can choose the step number here. You can drag over here, which changes the step thing here. This is really cool because it's instant feedback, super intuitive, very nice. And here you can also, it seems like this solos. Does it solo it? I'm guessing yes, if you click on here, because it grays out this. So I guess that's a cool way of quickly soloing what you're looking at and then tweaking. And here you got the control for the what would you call this? Macro? I don't know what you would call it, but you can map the mod wheel, let's say, to velocity here, and then as I would be moving this in here, you see all these parameters are mapped to velocity. So me moving the mod wheel here is gonna adjust the dynamics here basically on these notes, and they scale. So as you can see here in the middle, there's differences in velocity for these hits, but as I increase, they, you know, it's scaled in a proportionate manner. So super cool, very, very nice stuff. And if I take that off, nothing here happens. Look at us getting super technical over here. This is for, I don't usually do this, but I do it for myself because I want to sort of understand what's in here. And then these pages, to my understanding, just map to the next beat or basic. So you can basically build a song in here. So you would have, so as you can see here, 1 and 2 have almost the same beat here, with the exception of that one note there on the right. So this would be kind of structured for, let's say, a song, and then you could loop these any way you want. So that's a very nice way of building an entire track in here in the Beatmaker without having to, you know, faff about in your DAW endlessly, and especially when the interface is this good. That's a super cool feature to have. But I think that's going to be our extent of what we're going to look at what we're going to look at in the Beatmaker, because yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you can go in here and draw notes as you wish, just by clicking here or dragging. And again, you can map, choose any you can change the feel, the spread, the tune, the decay here for the automation, which we showed here. So it's yeah, I could select feel and then, you know, change things here. So that's the gist of it. I want to demonstrate to you what this thing sounds like out of the box. Just getting to know the sound, getting to see how it behaves, and we'll go from there. But we have 808s selected here. This font is very small for me here, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. So this seems very promising. Let's select 808, and then let's do something in 120. Again, there's so much stuff in here. I mean, each folder has obviously a set of different beats, and in each beat you have different individual beats, like individual loops, if you will, although they're not loops because they're happening in the Beatmaker, which makes it super flexible to jump in there and tweak things. This is a far superior way of doing loops because it's actually happening in the instrument, and I can tweak anything and everything that I want. So this is how it should be done. But 120, let's find Recluse seems like fun. So what I learned from my Tympo demo was that the sound of it is far better demonstrated based on these pre-made beats, because they are so well done. They're so more, you know, creative and well designed than what I can put together just by playing. I am still going to play just because I want to have that fun for myself, but we're going to play a lot of these Beatmaker loops just to give you an idea of the productional quality and level that we're talking about here. But okay, I see. So as I select the beat here, it's actually changing the kit selection. So, all right. So I thought these would be just basic. Okay, yeah, this makes complete sense. So we're just going to go through different types of beats. And then you're going to see how the kit selection changes here on the left. But yeah, let's start with 120. Let's actually do these in order. And this one is called Clicky Clack 909 Attack. I should touch on transparency before we get into this. Teletone Audio did send me this copy, so first of all, thank you to Teletone for doing that. That being said, all opinions are my own, both in good and bad. I haven't been asked to say anything one way or the other, nor would I ever do that, and I'm not being paid otherwise to make this video. In terms of the audio transparency here, you'll only be hearing Electro in action. Nothing added, no effects, nothing. I only have a limiter on my master bus to make the level decent for this video. The limiter is as transparent as I can make it, and we will be adjusting it depending on the sound here, because not all of the sounds are at the same level. If you hear clipping, it's the limiter in action. I'll probably let you know. If it's not the limiter for some reason, I'll let you know as well. And if you see me adjust something here and hear a level change, that's me playing with the limiter. This is a percussive library, which means there's a lot of transient information here, which means the limiter is going to catch some of those peaks a bit more than usual. That being said, it is as transparent as I can make it, and I will be adjusting it so that it doesn't crush the sound in any sort of a way that I would consider to be very audible, but something to keep in mind. But all right, that's it. Let's jump into Clicky Clack 909 Attack. That's a mouthful. Okay, so again, super impressive sounding. What you can see here when I play the blue keys down here, it actually triggers plays the notes through the Beatmaker, as you can see here. And as I switch keys, you can see that number 2 page is triggered now. So it's essentially a different pattern. Now number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's nothing in 8, and that's why you don't hear anything. So that's the way it's structured. And as you can see down in the screen on the red area, the Beatmaker is actually making these keys play inside Kontakt, which is why you can tweak anything and everything you want. You're not stuck with a single audiophile loop. It's actually playing these things here, which is just fantastic. And it's ridiculous how well those are programmed. Like when I was checking out Tympo, I thought they must have had an actual drummer and then turn the playing into MIDI and then import the MIDI in here. But apparently they've actually I believe they actually programmed these from the ground up in the Beatmaker, which is insane, an insane level of ability to do that, to make them sound so organic and realistic. Obviously, this is a drum machine thing, so doesn't require that kind of a level of realism. But that being said, it can still make a drastic difference if it's, baked in the right way. So this one is called 120 Electro. I mean, the feel of the beats they're super creative, super out there, crazy, weird, which I love. A lot of the rhythms are super quirky and complex. Yeah, just the feel of that is fantastic. So I immediately, with this, I want to do a few things. So let's put stretch on. I believe I'm doing it. Yep. So stretch is engaged up here, clicking on that. And as I bring the pitch wheel up and down, that's going to stretch the audio in different ways. I love this. And one of the things I love is when the pitched percussion stuff comes in, because it creates this, obviously, a sense of melody and pitch, but it's like, it resides in a unique place between melody and percussive sounds, which is often a space where I like to work a lot, because they're like qualities that sort of blend the two together, kind of glue the things together. And this is something I'm using a lot for this soundtrack that I'm writing right now. So I'm hoping, and it seems like I can utilize this in there as well. But stretch. I gotta do it. It's just so good. It's the second sound that we're touching on, and it's okay. So stretching. So it's doing some kind of a time stretching thing. Obviously, here we can hear the the engine kind of tear up the audio, which gives this nice digital artifacty sound. As we push it forward, it begins to condense that, which creates this super snappy sound. And it's kind of like a gated thing, but it sounds super sharp and snappy, like kind of a compressor type. All right, so this is speed. This is such a wonderful toy box. Like, I get excited like a little kid, you know, getting a fantastic toy on Christmas that you've wanted for so long. This is a... Okay, so that's interesting. It's an either or condition here. So I don't know if it halves it. It sounds like it. Let's see if we can, yeah. Super cool. Obviously, you can use that in a very creative way when you want to really break the sense of rhythm as well. Like, that's my initial, like, what I want to intuitively do with it. I'm not sure if speed was more like not like an either or thing, but rather a slowing down or speeding up in Tympo. And I think it was. Changed up the beat in real time by going half time or double time. Okay, this is, by the way, absolutely fantastic design for interface. I can, on this interface, click on info and I get this super well designed, laid out, just like PDF page. Very, very clear. Built in here, I don't have to go to a website, and this is not like intrusive in any way. This is fantastic. Yeah, very nice. So I think speed in Tympo was kind of a more like a range instead of either or, half or double. I think. Maybe let me know. Maybe I'll check at some point. But yeah, still very, very nice. Okay, this one is Chaos. I'm missing the landing on that hit, but let me actually check what my buffer is here. 256. Ideally, I would probably, let's see if we can do this without thing. Yeah, ideally, when I'm working with any kind of percussive stuff, it needs to be half of that. So let's see. I mean, this is just so much fun. Maybe it's this that I'm thinking in terms of speed from Tympo. Maybe not, but pff. Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, filter. So let's see what this does. Hopefully you're not getting bored of this beat, but I just love this. It's so quirky and weird. Yeah. I mean, the filter is so well voiced. It is super smooth going down there. And like all the levels of it are very clear to identify. They're very well voiced. And down there you can just basically hear the thump. And then you have this very nice smooth curve. And as you push beyond the halfway point, you start to get into this, is it like first a bypass, band pass and then a high pass? Let's see. No, so the top end definitely stays there, so it's like a high pass. But what's weird, and this is really cool, is that we can still hear a bit of that low thump in there. In fact, I can look from my analyzer. It's actually happening there, but it retains a tiny bit of that thump there below, which is just like really refined, really great productional sense there. Yeah, so it's not like a pure high pass. It's like a mid scoops out all the mids and leaves a bit of stuff at the very extreme ends of the low and the high. Definitely emphasizing the highs there, which is very sensible. All right, reverse. This is just so much fun. Okay, reverse. That's super cool. That's gonna lead to all kinds of interesting, cool things. Yeah, I'm just thinking about all the stuff I can do with this. Okay, so the thing is, you can put many of these on, or all of them, which is just a lot of fun. Let's do filter, chaos, and reverse. I think that's a good set to combine here. Yeah, okay, let's take chaos out because it changes a lot of the structure there. Let's do filter, stretch, and reverse. Okay, I'm doing it again. This is just so good. It sounds, whatever I throw at it, it just sounds so musical. It's just like a lot of fun, very sensible, very musical, very mature. I mean, and yet, like, even like listening to the low end here, it's super impressive. But again, I can hear that in a mixing context, this isn't gonna become overwhelming. It's very nicely balanced, very mature. I know it's gonna sound absolutely massive on pretty much any system I throw it at, and it's not overwhelming because a lot of the time you can pull up all kinds of percussive instruments and you're going to be, wow, this sounds bigger than the entire world. But then in a mixing context, it's going to be difficult to fit in there, and you got to tweak a lot of stuff. So this is super sensible. I mean, I'm in love. This is I mean, going there, pulling the filter back, you on the snare, you hear that kind of nice puffiness. It's in the back there somewhere, filtered, but a bit of reverb is coming off of it. It's fantastic. Has that nice snap in there, and obviously some of it comes from the reverse meeting the stretch aspect, but how it's all so, it's put together in such a complementary fashion. Whatever you throw at it, I can just throw these effects in there and it's going to be like sensible. It sounds creative, sounds very well put together. It's not just like random chaos that often happens when you know, start playing with these engines, and you kind of have to put it together yourself and figure it out. But this one is just so well designed that whatever you throw at it, it might be too much or too little, but whatever is there is so well put together and designed. Okay, we need to move on before I just ramble and fangirl out of this. But okay, so mod wheel, we got a different set of things here. You got something called velocity, feel, spread, tune, decay. So velocity, let's see if that's mapped here. So yeah, basically what you saw here, it gives like an additional general velocity control over your beat. So here in the Beatmaker, you define the velocities, you draw them in, but this globally, relatively controls it. So if you want to take all the dynamics out and go very quiet, you go obviously down. If you want to flat out max out everything, you go all the way up. And the stuff in between adjusts relatively accordingly to what you've drawn in here. Super cool. This can be very nice when you're writing different sections and you want to have a slightly different feel to it. You've already programmed in your precise beats, but you want to have that last fine tuning, get the verse maybe a bit chill, and then come maybe a bit harder in the chorus. And yeah, very nice. Feel. So I think these obviously need to be mapped in here. We'll only see them if we open this window here. So yeah, it seems like we have something mapped for all of these in here. So let's see how that works. So now I think our velocity is probably a bit too quiet here. So I'm going to put it somewhere there. Somewhere there in the middle, if that is doing what I think it's doing. Let me try and get that level. Maybe if I just choose this again, it's gonna, yep, it's gonna reset that. That's faster. Okay, feel. As you can hear, it brings this beautiful jumpiness to it, changing the actual groove very much. So yeah, I mean, and in terms of what it's going to do, you can again draw that in here as you wish, which is super, super cool. That's like an entirely like next level of programming feel, because you don't have to go all the way. You can just add a tiny bit of fluctuation there, which can really bring your beats alive in a completely different way. Spread. doesn't seem like we have anything there out of the gate. So let's do something here. I'm just gonna do like a wavy thing for the kick. Yep, now we should have something, as you can see here. Let's try that out. Not hearing anything there. Maybe that's not a great... Oh, I did it on the wrong thing. Yep, did it on the wrong thing. So that's a stereo thing, as I sort of remembered from Tympo, but wasn't sure. So let's do like a spread thing on the kick here. So this is fantastic. So obviously if we go all the way, it's going to pan it either fully left or right. And anything in between is just going to relatively place it somewhere in between, depending on where you've drawn it. This is fantastic because so often beats especially are brought to life by creative, detailed panning choices. And obviously I don't know if you in many cases you want your kick to stay in the center so it translates into mono well, depending on the style of music you're doing, what you want to achieve. But this is super cool because it just like brings this whole different dimension in here. And certainly for let's say hi-hats, for example, so we can open this here, let's do a spread thing here. These kind of things can just like take your imaging and your mix to the next level. So let's test that out. So I'm not sure what I did regarding the level here. Oh, we must have messed with the master volume somehow at some point. I don't know how, but... So yeah, you can hear it pan to the right. Let's see. I don't know what this 3 percussion thing is. Oh, and here's the thing. Look at the individual steps here. You can break it down into further slots. As you can see, it says 4 here. I don't know how you change that. Oh, here we go. You can drag up and down. That's what I tried to do here. Oh, now it's working. So you can have 16 steps times 4. That's a lot of steps. That's Marcus math. So what, 64? Yes. That's a crazy amount of detail. So again, I can here draw kind of very broad, blocky things. But inside here, you can also go crazy. You could do this in pretty high resolution. This is just so well designed. Like, literally creativity is your limit here. Yeah, this is some good stuff. So you can hear that percussive element go from this kind of more centered pattern into this spread. Beautiful way of making your mix interesting and alive, but it's not like something the average listener would necessarily pick up. Just a slight detail to create that movement, and yeah, fantastic. All right, tune. love this. Again, this is one of the things I really yearn for, which is pitch control for the elements and making it, because I'm not looking necessarily for a melody, but I'm looking for some kind of pitchy percussive pattern, which is a very nice bridge of creating some sense of pitch and melody, but without going into the realm of like a full-on melody type of instrument. That's so cool. As you can hear here, not every element has a pitch element, so I'm guessing it's maybe this one. Looks like it. So if I open, yeah. So most of these are kept neutral, because if we pitch them a lot, you know, like the kick, for example, it's gonna, well, it's gonna sound a certain way. Let's check it out. Obviously we need to draw something in, so let's just do that. Let's do something crazy. So again, that's kind of weird and very out there, not in a traditional sense good. But I mean, again, creativity is your limit here. You can do really quirky, crazy stuff with that. But you know, there is actually a way of resetting this completely. Is it that one? I don't dare to press stuff in case I mess it up. Oh, maybe that, yep, makes sense. That redo refresh button. So did we okay, I'm probably missing, because I don't remember resetting the tune here for this. Let's do something weird there, and let's do something weird for the crash. So that's super. I love this kind of stuff. Just super simple. I can draw in stuff here, and then I could throw that into the beat whenever I'd want it to come alive. It doesn't really, you know. You could max out all of these and just, or do a random pattern and then just like shift it in there with the mod wheel. Super nice. I love performing stuff live with the mod wheel like that, doing passes on stuff. I mean, this is so great. Get the idea, but fantastic feature. Really love that. You can do a lot with that. Decay, I'm not sure what that's. Maybe it's that's playing with the note decay length, which must be it. So let's test that. So that's a very nice scope of things that they're demonstrating here. So they've got a few things playing with the decay. I'll turn these on. Maybe there is a feature for this, but if I could master control like all of the decay things up at the same time, I think that must be a thing. Maybe, because it seems like something that would be baked in there, so I don't have to click all of them. Maybe if you... Okay, so we have two buttons. I have such a massive screen that we've got two. That definitely looks like a copy button. Yeah, which you could make sense. You could make a pattern and then paste it onto a snare or hi-hat, etc. And don't know what the other one does. But yeah, let's check it out. So again, another fantastic layer of control, because it kind of like does the gatey thing, the gate stuff from the pitch wheel side, but then you can also, that's just like endlessly creative. There is like, with this design, what I love about it is that it's genuinely endlessly creative, but it's super well designed. Like, this is not tedious in any way. It just feels super creative. I don't have to dive into some kind of editor or designer and be like, oh, like how am I gonna make this happen? Or like, playing with it seems so effortless. And this is really the brilliance of what they've done here. Just a fantastically designed engine. All right, so that covers the sound design portion of the instrument. Then we have this effects area, which has distress, saturation, flanger, filter, reverb, swing. So it looks like these can't be mapped to these sound design controls, but rather they're individual controls on their own. Obviously, you can map these to MIDI controllers if you wish, but that's a whole different topic for a different session. I think we're gonna, let's choose a different beat. So this one is floor on the 4. That is monstrous. And again, it sounds perfectly balanced. It's not like overwhelmingly boomy where I need to cut a bunch of the low end, and it's contextual in relation to all of the other sounds. And I haven't even played those, but I can tell based on experience with Teletone, but also based on how it's put together. It clearly has space for other things as well, but that is really monstrous. Super cool. I think we're gonna go on and find something a bit more sort of less already shaped, so then I can, well, actually, screw it. Let's do 4 on the floor. Let's do the effect. So first of all, looks like we already have some distress going on here. So I'm guessing that is a reference to the distressor. So this would be, I don't know if that is, could be a reference just to the actual word, but probably from Tympo, I don't actually remember what it does. It was probably like a compressor meeting some kind of crushing. Maybe there's like a I don't know. Let's play with it. Definitely a compressing element there going on, but it's a very specific sounding kind of a thing. And then it kind of begins to saturate and blow at the very top end there. Okay, I do actually want to change the sound just to get some other elements in there other than the kick mainly. Yeah, definitely some dynamic range reduction going there. So probably kind of like a hard driving compressor, because here in the middle, you can hear it get a bit more grab and more body, which means it's probably dynamic, compressing it. And then once you push it, it begins to sound like a kind of hard-driven hardware compressor. So you actually get distortion coming out of there as well. I'm going to just reset that preset. Then you have saturation, and this is split into two things. So saturation, which is probably like a easier, gentler distortion, probably smoother. And then you have distortion, which I suspect is kind of like hard driven. Can these coexist? Because when I click on distortion, it gives a different level there out of the gate, like it's made for this preset. Let's actually, again, let's reset this. Yeah, so it shows obviously which one is on and distortion is on. So no, they're not on simultaneously, but rather one or the other. So distortion, let's test that. Cool, sounds very nice. Saturation. Okay, so that gets a lot more sort of analog. I don't know if that's tubey saturation, but it begins to kind of bloom nicely past the halfway point. So very nice. Again, very Teletone audio style choices, which I personally love. Next up, Flanger. So as you obviously know, as a very educated audio engineer, all of these effects are created with the same principle: flanger, phaser, chorus. They're simply a different amount of the same effect. So let's do flanger first. That's super pleasant, very smooth, very nice. I do love that. This is the only way I'm willing to use flangers for the most part, when it's really smooth and kind of creamy. Very good. Let's do phaser. So those can be really interesting, like momentary effects, especially in the style that Teletone does, the kind of musical style. Very appropriate for that kind of stuff. Chorus. Very good. I really like this kind of mid-ish range. Gives a nice spread. That's an interesting tone and flavor at the very extreme. Kind of like it begins to tear on the sound a bit more, which is very interesting. I wonder if that's kind of the interplay between the effects. It doesn't state how they are put together, whether they're like serial or some kind of parallel configuration, but I would suspect maybe it's the order that it's placed here. But yeah, very, very cool thing. All right, filter. I wonder if this is connected to the control in the sound designer, because it does the kind of a similar thing. But I don't know. Reverb, So this one has a drop-down menu, 5 different types of reverb. Let's do gated long. Okay, so our reverb doesn't appear to be on. Oh, it's probably because it's not on. Oh, here we go. Okay, that is definitely clipping. So here's the thing. Seems like reverb is on a individual basis. So depending, you have to kind of put it in there on the instrument itself. So let's put it halfway here in the main control, and then I have hi-hat here, and I'm going to increase it. So that's really good sounding. Gate short. Very nice. I mean, perfectly voiced in this kind of a sound style that they're going for. What was this? Room. It's interesting when you really drive it up. It sounds like there's a bit of yeah, distortion, but it kind of breaks up a tiny bit. That's really actually pleasant. So that was the plate, and then we have spring. Pretty interesting sound there. Doesn't seem like you have any deeper control over that, but and then you have swing. That's again a super interesting control, just like an additional layer to the whole rhythm control, because you can go subtle or you can obviously go all the way, but super cool. All right, I think we covered the interface here. This is a super long demo, but this is me discovering this and playing with this. So I think we're going to transition into the phase of going through more of these kits, just to get the scope of this, the sound here. I mean, let's play a few more from the Recluse one. Yeah, very nice. I'm gonna go through these pretty fast. Let's go through the entire 120 folder, see how much we can do of the rest, but let's just blaze through different sounds and vibe with this. Very cool. I mean, what I love about this is that I don't just think like drum machine. I think, oh, that's an interesting groove. That's an interesting, very good sounding drum part. So that's a huge plus for me. It just speaks volumes to the, like, all the programming and the soul and the humanity that they've poured into this. It really sounds like a living thing of its own. Next up, Tom Tom Bomb. These preset names are insanely good. just so well voiced, and it's just like the sound of it is just so well put together. Fantastic. If I see something baked or programmed in here with the sound design section, then I'll play with it. Seems like not all of them or many of them have something baked in, but this one is Man in the Machine. The groove is insane. I mean, the imaging is so stunning, the balance, everything just comes together in such a brilliant fashion. I love those, first of all, the pitched percussive elements, absolutely love them. And that pitched, like that clear melody there, the imaging on that is insane. It's right there, I can like touch it. That is insanely good. What can I do? What else can I do? I have to do the walk away. It's so good. It's perfect. It's the sound of it, the creative ideas, the feel of it, the vibe, the way it hits. It's just so refined. I mean, and what I immediately like, I get ideas here. I'm feeling creative. I want to write music. I want to go in there. I want to tweak the tune stuff here. I want to play with the stretch. That sounds weird. This is one of the things I wanted to test, whether you can do both simultaneously, and obviously you can. I could do this all day. I mean, you get the idea, but like, it has no business being this good. Yeah, crazy. Nice. Liar. So yeah, definitely these kind of like more typical things as well in here. So it's not only like freaky, crazy, good, creative stuff. You have some like some of these more typical expected beat patterns and sounds as well. Yeah, you get the idea. I mean, I love those textural, like that popping. And again, that's a sound that could very easily be very harsh on the ear, but it's actually very pleasant, very kind of poppy, buttery, sparkly, very, very, very nice. Bit of clipping there in the middle. So it was kind of, we did clip Kontakt once and then the rest of it was limiter, but yeah, I mean, I don't think there is a better way of doing this. Like, this seems like a perfect engine to me. So I guess that's my praise. And on top of that, you get this fantastic creativity and sound design and mixing that they've done here. Fantastic programming, all these great beats. Let's go to sorry, I can't speak anymore. 110 BPM. This one is called Ready Set. So yeah, again, more like the typical thing you'd expect, done in brilliant fashion. It just sounds so buttery and, you know, punchy at the same time. Boyfriend. Very cool. More like a drum type of a thing. help but get your hands in there in the sound design section and play around. It's just so immediate and so intuitive. Yeah, fantastic. Feeling like doing some 80s synthwave with that. Fantastic. Again, the melody element there is just perfectly done. This is yeah, this is stupid good. I can't believe it. Like, this is it's not very often when you open up an instrument and it's this much fun, immediate creativity. Yeah, I mean, they are masters at what they do. This is just like next level stuff. Beautiful sound design, like that soundscape is fantastic. I think we're going to play all of these because we can go through these pretty fast. So 100 BPM. Let's I'm going to follow the BPM guidelines here and see what happens. Although, as you can see, we played the 110 BPM folder in I think 25, which tends to be 124 tends to be kind of a good center for me in many cases, but like they just turn into more like a groovier version of it. They just sound fantastic even with a higher BPM. I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm a broken record, but this is just so inspiring, and this is just so good. Yeah, there's a track right there. And this sounds very much like Tympo, like very much more realistic sounding drum sound. So I'm really impressed that if they shaped that from drum machines. I'm not even going to say anything anymore. It's going to speak for itself. Dirty. And this is insane programming. I'm not even touching any of the controls. I haven't done anything here on that front. So it's just this genuinely speechless. Go get it. Like, what are you doing? This shouldn't be available to the general public. cool, very, very solid. I love this kind of absolutely bonkers stuff. Yeah. I mean, this is what I'll be doing for the next half a year at least. Just locked in the studio doing this. I mean, these groove so much. Yeah, I mean, you can't make this unless you are like at the top of what you do in terms of like the musicality of this. It's just so, like I've said this many times, but like you have access to their productional sense and arrangement sense and also their mixing ability. So that's like on top of this stellar design of an engine with the samples, and this is really, like, if you use these kind of sounds at all, this is a no-brainer. Yep. Okay, we looped around. So 90 BPM, Big Tipper. I didn't know they named a preset after me. Cool. That's yeah, that's gonna go in there. It's gonna be in a track. This is just I can't believe this. Like this is just mind blowing at a very different level. Super buttery, very smooth. Again, you can hear that this is going to be okay. 124 might be too much, but yeah, more like maybe 110 pushing it. They can, like, these convert in. Also, they're designed at the level where they have a lot of scope in terms of like BPM usage. And again, they're happening in the engine, so you know, like you can do whatever you want. Tempo wise, go in there, tweak the notes. This is just I'm gonna say this seems like a perfect product. I don't say that often. In fact, I don't think I've ever said that. Not that I don't necessarily think that about other stuff, but this is just something different. Very nice. Fantastic. Again, the filter is so well voiced because it has this very nice buttery spectrum there. Buttery sound, but the spectrum, the way it's voiced with the range is just so well thought through. This is so well mixed. It's just perfectly buttery, crispy, punchy, present, but very you can listen to this for a long time, which means it's not harsh in any kind of a way. It just grooves so hard. Okay, we're in the 80 BPM folder. Let's go ahead and actually change our BPM. There we go. That's really good. We're not clipping in the limiter, pushing the limiter harder on that one, so probably a tiny bit less distorted otherwise. Yeah. Really, really good. It goes hard. I've said everything already. loving those pitched elements. And this goes hard. Brilliant. Yep. Really nail those classic sounds as well. That's beautiful, that top sound. Beautiful imaging, sense of reverb. Like, for example, there, I'm super inspired by that. I wouldn't do that with the rest of the kit. It sounds brilliant, but like musically, the idea I don't want to pursue. I just go in there and strip everything else off from the Beatmaker and start building my own thing. Like, it's just brilliant. Nails that sound. Very kind of subdued, but super like present, precise, clear. Doesn't get in the way of other things in the mix. That's fantastic. Like there you have, like, that's a very well programmed beat in terms of the timing of it. It has that slight lag, but it's consistent. It's very nice vibe to that. Again, that element there at the top. Amazing. All right, so that was... No, it wasn't. We still got 3 left. The imaging, the mixing on that is just some of the best stuff I've heard, period, in a while. It's just, everything is so beautifully placed, and cool. Going into 70 BPM. I'll actually change that as well. Beautiful, those pitched elements. Beautiful wetness meeting that crisp mid. Yeah, those pitched top end things get me really good. They're so well done. Cool. By the way, those clicks in between sounds are coming simply from changing the sound, which kind of causes a CPU clip or something akin to that. Beautiful snare on that one. Yeah, I'm gonna be designing the shit out of those top end percussive blip blops. Just the pitching, that it's just such a beautiful element. These go so hard. That's badass. Okay, last folder, 60 BPM. Let's go over and change that. Wow, beautiful. Again, some of these hit the limiter harder. We're not clipping it, but definitely it is going to catch some of those peaks. So like that one was hitting pretty hard, but still as transparent as I see fit. I mean, that's perfect. Just like nails that sound and soundscape. Bonkers, but perfect. Yeah. Mac in the house, bitch. The Mac is back, yeah. Sorry about that. Beautiful beat. Beautiful sounds. crazy. Whoa, alright, so that's it. I think we went through all the BPM folders. We played all of the presets in terms of the beat selection folders. Then you have favorites and user beats folders, which you can then also go into. But, I mean, then we could also go, I guess, into the kits and play them individually. I suspect that is... Well, okay, yeah, so what we didn't do is actually, you know, play these individually, actually. Which you can quickly understand why, because they're just so well designed and done that this demonstrates the sound of this infinitely better than I can ever play, even as a pretty decent drummer, although less so with keys and fingers. But, I mean, wrapping this up, I mean, if you made it this far, I don't know how long this has been going, but I've been absolutely enamored by this, just like, you know, in rapture with this. But if you use any kind of drum machine samples and instruments, get this. Just get it. I've never seen any or heard anything better in that department than this. This is it. Like, fantastic. The only thing I would say is that Teletone audio does have the Teletone audio sound, and you obviously want to be or have to be a fan of it to like it. That's an obvious thing. We always need to like the sound of the sample library to like it. That being said, I think this caters to a pretty wide audience, so the likelihood you're going to be in that camp is, I'd say, relatively high, although not everybody is going to be there. So that's the only if and but that I have regarding this. But, like, that's the case with anything, and it's not even, like, specifically, that's not like a downfall. Quite the opposite. And for someone like me, or anyone who likes the sound of this, that's going to be an upside. In fact, it's one of the biggest upsides of this whole thing. So that's the only thing I would consider. But other than that, go get this right away. It seems like a ridiculous offer. Like, I don't remember the price of this. Let's go check it out. So, Electro, right now the price is $129. So it's not free. In the world of sample libraries, this is not expensive. I think they price their products really well. And certainly for this is, I'd say, a steal. If you own, I don't know how their loyalty thing goes exactly. Certainly if you own Tympo, I'd suspect you'd get some kind of a discount, but maybe if you bought anything from them, you get some kind of a discount. Again, I'm not stating that's the case because I don't know, but check your email if you are subscribed to their newsletter. Check your email if you bought something from them, and definitely check it if you've bought Tympo. You probably get something off, maybe. But even $129 is, I'd say, a very, like, seems to me like a steal price for this. And maybe there's even, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, probably, yeah, like in your newsletter, there's whatever discount may be with that. But sampled brilliantly, processed brilliantly, the beats designed, arranged beautifully, the sound design, the production, the mixing is fantastic. It's not even maybe one of the best, it's probably the best interface and engine that I've ever used in a virtual instrument. I can't believe I'm saying things like this strongly, and like I said, like, I've fallen in love with this, so I'm probably a bit hazy-headed, but I think that speaks to the to the brilliance of this, how good it is, genuinely. So, I mean, if you use drum machine sounds at all, or even if you're looking for like electronic drum sounds and samples, I'd say just go get this. It obviously does a bunch of those kind of typical traditional drum machine sounds as well. Does it really well, and they're like basically pre-mixed for you, so you're welcome, there you go. But even beyond that, especially the stuff I'm super interested in, which is all the crazy sound design out there, programmed crazy rhythms and patterns, all that stuff, that's also in there, and I love that. And yeah, but I mean, this video showcased every single one of those beat designer, a beat maker, beat selection presets, I should say. So, and yeah, I mean, yeah, this might very well be like, I mean, it's certainly one of the best things I've looked at the entire year. Maybe it is the best thing I looked at this year, but this is just stellar work. So I will do nothing else than praise this and say, do get it if you like the sound of Teletone audio and the things that they do, and if you use drum machine sounds at all, or any kind of electronic percussive elements. It's that good. I mean, I've been talking enough here, playing enough. It's been a very long demo, but again, I hope this helped somebody make a decision about this. You heard what I had to say, so let me know what you think down in the comments, this video, or wherever else you may be in contact with me. But yeah, thanks to Teletone for sending this over. It's been a pleasure, and I will enjoy the heck out of using this in actually writing music. So that's it for this video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Finished.